Good morning and welcome to Korea Today, live from Seoul.
Locked up, left-leaning lawmaker Lee Seok-gi has been arrested shortly after a nod of approval by the parliament over allegations that he was involved in a scheme to revolt against the government. Leaders from the Group of 20 will kick off their annual meeting in Russia. We have the latest from St. Petersburg coming up.
And a market that's said to have grown 60 times in the past few years. We'll tell you about it on In Print.
Korean traditional folk paintings, or Minhwas, these long-loved artworks, are now being used in modern-day designs to enliven spaces and now to decorate everyday products. The home to Korean traditional music, kugak and grapes. We visit the town of Yeongdong with Andrew and Diana, who will go grape picking and join in on making some wine rich in flavor on Thursday, September 5th, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome to Korea Today.
And shall I say, 안녕하세요. Well, there's an increasing number of people wanting to take the Korean language proficiency exam. And for those of you who want to take the beginning exam, the beginner's exam, then it just got a little bit easier because you'll only have to worry about reading and listening.
Right, no extra questions on vocabularies or grammar. And Korean is a beautiful language, but a tough language to learn. I'm glad I was born a Korean, so I have to learn this language. But the number of people taking this Korean language proficiency test has been on the rise, and just next month, the number of people taking this test stands at 67,500 people. That's up 30 times from 16 years ago. So, 안녕하세요, back to you again.
All right. And they've even increased the number of tests that will be given annually. So you'll have a much more chance of getting the test or taking the test.
All right, we'll begin Korea Today with a look at the day's headlines with Nahyun-kyung.
It was another scene of chaos that broke out at the National Assembly Wednesday evening, with officials trying to apprehend leftist lawmaker Lee Seok-gi just a few hours after Parliament voted in favor of waiving Lee's immunity from arrest. The minor opposition legislator, who is accused of plotting a rebellion and suspected of having close ties with a North Korean espionage group, has now been detained.
Because I believe in the truth, I am calm. I have faith in the triumph of justice. I told them I will voluntarily show up tomorrow, but spy agency officials suddenly came to my office today. Worried about a possible clash, I decided to come in now.
Justice Minister Hwang Kyo-an earlier addressed the seriousness of this case to lawmakers, saying Lee must be detained as soon as possible in order to prevent him and his associates from destroying evidence. A session to examine the validity of Lee's arrest warrant is scheduled to take place at 10 a.m. today. The G20 Leaders Summit is set to kick off in St. Petersburg, Russia on Thursday local time. President Park Geun-hye arrived there Wednesday evening. And for more, we have Arirang's presidential office correspondent Jin-ju on the line. So Jin-ju, tell us about the agenda of this year's meeting.
Kyung-kyung, world leaders will be discussing pending economic and financial issues facing the global economy during the two-day meeting, which will begin later today. They will seek ways to work towards sustainable and balanced growth and quality job creation. Now, if I give you some specific examples, on top of this year's agenda are countering negative impacts of Washington's plan to taper its stimulus program, ensuring financial stability, reforming the global financial system, tackling unemployment, searching for new sources of growth, and strengthening international development assistance. The meeting will be held over two working sessions, one on Thursday and one on Friday, as well as over a working dinner and a luncheon before adopting a joint communique on Friday. President Park is expected to make a lead speech in the second session on Friday, where she will emphasize the importance of international cooperation in solving one of the major issues that will be brought up in this year's summit, which is low growth and high unemployment. She's expected to introduce her administration's goal of reaching 70% unemployment rate and her push for realizing a creative economy in order to create more jobs.
All right, but I imagine talks over the situation in Syria may actually dominate the scene, though.
Yes, that's right. Although Syria is not on the official G20 agenda, it seems that a fierce battle will take place behind the scenes, especially between the U.S. and Russia, over who or what was behind the chemical weapons attack in that country in August. Washington will try to draw support from the international community over a military response against Syria's Assad regime, especially with Britain, Germany, and other NATO member countries having decided not to take part in the military strike. So reports are saying U.S. President Barack Obama could be under more pressure during the G20 summit than Russian President Vladimir Putin. As for Russia, it will try to use the leaders' meeting as an opportunity to turn the tables on the U.S. Now, Putin had said last week that the G20 could be a good platform to discuss the matter and hinted that he will take advantage of the occasion.
And many will definitely be keeping an eye on that. Now, going back to President Park's schedules, what are some of the president's other plans during her stay in Russia?
Well, on the sidelines of the summit, she will take the chance to hold bilateral meetings with leaders of 4 countries, which are Italy, Germany, Kazakhstan, and Russia. Through these one-on-one summits, President Park aims to push ahead with her sales diplomacy by discussing ways to strengthen cooperation in economic affairs and bilateral trade and encourage more companies to expand into each other's markets. In particular, Russia will be the 3rd country among the 4 nations neighboring the Korean Peninsula to hold a bilateral summit with Korea. Now, as to whether she will meet separately with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, it seems unlikely at this point. President Park will be seeking support from the Russian president for her trust-building process with the North, as she did from U.S. President Barack Obama and Chinese President Xi Jinping in May and June. Kyung-kyung.
All right, Jinju, to keep us updated on the summit meeting, that was our presidential office correspondent Jinju connecting from Russia. And amid continuing tensions over Syria, U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel says North Korea has a large stockpile of chemical weapons, adding that Washington and Seoul have discussed the scenarios in which Pyongyang might use them. Standing before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee Wednesday, Hagel said Pyongyang's chemical arms threaten the security of Seoul and the 28,000 U.S. troops stationed in South Korea. The remarks came as Hagel appealed to Congress to support military intervention in Syria to not only punish the Assad regime for its recent chemical attack on civilians, but to prevent other regimes and terrorist groups from acquiring the weapons. This comes after South Korean Defense Minister Kim Kwan-jin told lawmakers in Seoul earlier this week that signs of a chemical connection between North Korea and Syria have been detected. Despite the government's efforts to increase the number of real estate sales transactions, a housing research institute says the price of so-called jeonse homes will continue to rise for the next 8 years. Now, jeonse is a lease system in Korea where you put down anywhere between 50 to 100% of the home's market value as a deposit instead of buying or paying monthly rent. With a soaring demand in jeonse houses and not so many sales, the Park Geun-hye administration has been creating measures including tax breaks to boost the sluggish market and slam the brakes on the skyrocketing jeonse prices. But experts say this is not
because
enough.
there is a limit on who will be eligible for the new measures, and there might be a gap between the point of the government announcement and the actual implementation of the policy. It would be difficult to see an overall synergy effect from the new measures.
The institute says the price of jeonse will increase 7.3% on average each year until 2020, while the sales prices will decrease 0.5% annually.
Good morning, everyone. I'll bet you know what the top story on the front pages are today. Let's go ahead and kick off in print with a look at how some of our newspapers covered it in their headlines. We'll begin with 조선일보, whose headline reads, Parliament approves first lawmaker arrest on conspiracy of rebellion since establishment of constitutional government. And this is the first approval for a lawmaker considered to have committed conspiracy of rebellion. But the article notes that this is the 12th overall since the constitutional government was established. It is the third also since the 19th National Assembly. Let's go ahead and take a look at the headline on 동아일보 now. Could be raising some eyebrows, I think. It says South Korea National Assembly throws out pro-North Korea lawmaker. And interesting that they should call him a pro-중복 or North Korea sympathizing lawmaker there without mentioning his name even before he faces trial. And again, that's Chung-puk there. And scooting over to 중앙일보, the headline reads, Lee Seok-gi swiftly and forcefully arrested. The caption to the image says that the Unified Progressive Party lawmaker was picked up at his office by some 30 employees of the nation's spy agency. They got to his office at 7:20 last night, but it took them an hour to get to this point of transporting him due to the physical resistance they were met with from members of the UPP. And the article chronicles the physical fights last night, the altercations, reporting that there were plenty of expletives thrown out in the midst of the scuffle. And it was around 8:12, it says, that Lee, who reportedly watched the melee from his office, indicated that he would comply. And the subheadline notes that the pickup came 3 hours after Parliament approval was passed on concern that Lee would run. An overwhelming majority of lawmakers approved lifting his parliamentary immunity for arrest, while 14 opposed and 11 abstained, as you can see in that chart there. All right, scooting over to 경향신문 now. It also treats the story as its top, and its headline reads, NIS, Lee Seok-gi forcefully detained Parliament green lights arrest, and a similar image there as well. It notes in the subheadline that his arrest warrant will be reviewed later today. Meanwhile, its side story provides an update on the story the newspaper has been following all week on the alternative history textbooks. The headline reads, Revoke New Right textbook approval, in quotes. Civic group presses for acknowledgement and apology. And the report says that the resistant movement to the history textbooks written by those with new right tendencies is growing within civic groups as well as historical groups. It says that there was a demonstration in front of the Japanese embassy where some of the last surviving Korean so-called comfort women stage a rally every Wednesday, and civic groups representing their cause say that these textbooks dishonor their stories and thus need to be destroyed. Let's go ahead and switch gears now and take a look at our business daily for today. Made Business newspaper's headline reads, Social commerce big bang grows 60 times in 3 years. Now, social commerce refers to those websites that offer heavy discounts on everything from restaurant credit, cultural event tickets, household electronics, groceries, to even cars, utilizing social media and crowdsourcing, very popular here in Korea. The article notes that the service has been so popular that even large box office supermarkets are standing up to take notice. It says that the market was valued at some $45 million back in 2010, but now it has ballooned to $2.7 billion. The newspaper credits this trend to the long economic downturn causing people to look for the best prices and also the growth of mobile media's reach. With that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Thursday. Next up are your closing numbers from Wednesday's market action.
This past Sunday, September 1st, marked the 90th anniversary of the Kanto earthquake that rattled Japan's Kanto region, killing an estimated 100,000 people. In the days ensuing that disaster was another disaster that targeted Koreans in particular.
So amid all the chaos, rumors were spread that ethnic Koreans were committing crimes such as arson and poisoning wells, which fueled anti-Korean sentiment. Now, this led to the massacre of thousands, if not tens of thousands, of innocent Koreans. And joining us is 아리랑TV producer Park Hee-ju on the documentary that tells the stories. It's based on the events of the Kanto earthquake, the untold story. The Kanto earthquake. Good morning, Hee-ju.
Good morning. Thanks for
Hi
joining
guys,
us.
thank you for having me on your show today. Well, so in order to commemorate the 90th anniversary of the Kanto earthquake, me and the executive producer Park Jung-woo went to Japan and visited the Kanto region to meet up with many Japanese scholars and civic activists who have been studying this matter for decades to find more about who was behind this killing and how Japan has been dealing with it. So let's take a quick look at the untold story, the Kanto earthquake.
September 1st, 1923, 11:58 a.m. An earthquake measuring 7.9 on the Richter scale struck Tokyo in the Kanto region. Rumors spread on the night of the earthquake that Koreans were poisoning the well, looting and raping women. Soon, vigilante groups were formed, and they armed themselves with sickle and hoe and went hunting for Koreans.
それはやり方は今思い出してもゾッとしますが、電信柱に針金で縛り付ける、殴る、蹴る、飛びで頭に穴を開ける、竹槍で突く、とにかく無弱人でした。
そのようにこの事件は何人殺されたのか、殺された人の名前は何ていう人たちなのか、そして遺骨はどこに行ったのか、全てわからない、わからなくしてしまっている。これは当時の日本の政府、警察が、軍隊がそうしてしまっているという事件なんです。
殺したことだけが問題じゃないってことです。その後が悪すぎたっていうこと。なぜかっていうとね、実際朝鮮人は暴動を起こしてなかったんですよ。朝鮮人の死体なんかをね。
The truth of the massacre is hidden somewhere. We set out to find what happened 90 years ago.
やっぱりそれは権力によって隠されたということ。だから隠されただけではなくて、隠蔽された歴史が偽造されているというね。
そういうことを明らかにしなければ本当に日本の歴史をはっきりさせることできないと思うんですね。
The history they wanted to erase, but never could.
そういうものとやっぱり戦い続けない限り正しい認識になるということはないんじゃないかなっていうふうに思ってます。
Another name for the Kanto earthquake, the Kanto Korean massacre.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a gripping documentary. Well, the facts are there. The fact of the matter is that thousands of Koreans were, in fact, killed by angry mobs. And your documentary points the finger at the Japanese government. And you've talked to many experts out there. So what were their evidence in making their claims?
Well, I think they provided a lot of information, but I think the one thing was the actual photographs of, people putting posters about saying that the Koreans are poisoning the wells and setting buildings on fire. So beware the Koreans. They are being, the source of danger. And
these are Japanese government officials.
The police and the military. They're putting up the posters, and actually there are pictures of the vigilante groups actually killing the Koreans, and that was pretty powerful. But I think the strongest evidence will be the diaries and the testimonies by the witnesses or the military or the police or the vigilante groups admitting that they had in fact killed many Koreans. So I think that was pretty much what they've piled up in order to uncover the truth, I guess.
Okay, and all this is in the documentary.
Yes.
And we also saw in the documentary that many Japanese activists are also trying to uncover the facts and to basically spread the facts to the people there. And through the documentary, they also expressed a bit of discontent that the government is not willing to really acknowledge them, right? Now, what exactly is the Japanese government doing, or what are they not doing for that matter?
Well, the experts, the scholars and the activists that I interviewed, they unanimously mentioned that they're not giving the proper education to the younger generation and the students. For example, the textbooks don't use the word massacre anymore. They used to, but they took out the word because they thought it was too strong for the younger students to use. And another thing, well, this is not now, but during the earthquake in 1923, there was a newspaper report that 3 policemen were in disguise at the site of the massacre to kind of hide the body somewhere else when they heard the families were on their way to reclaim the bodies. Yes.
You mentioned education, and that's a topic that comes up a lot on these matters now. What about the awareness in Japan amongst the citizens? Is there awareness, and also do the average Japanese citizen know about the massacre? They may know about the Kanto earthquake, but do they know about the massacre?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't have the chance to meet up with many, for example, Japanese students. But when I visited the National Museum of Japanese history, I asked, but there is a small section on the Kanto earthquake and the massacre. So I asked if, how the children or the younger students react to such exhibition. And they said, well, they usually just pass by, without being too agitated by it. And some of the activists that I interviewed, that I met up with, they're actually retired teachers. And then they did say that not that many of the students know well about it. They hear it for the first time, and then, that's pretty much about it. They don't
pay too much attention to it, I suppose.
And I think that was,
might be the word for it.
Yeah, and another thing that kind of surprised me was not even Korean students know well about it either. So I think this piece of history, information in history, is on the verge of kind of being forgotten, maybe.
So on that note, how has the Korean government done anything to raise awareness about or to how to deal with the situation?
Well, that was one thing that the Japanese activists were requesting for. Why isn't Korea doing anything? But in fact, a special act that allows the government to reclaim the bodies and to demand compensation is expected to be passed very shortly, within this month.
Well, this kind of lack of knowledge is why your role and your documentary is important. Now, what is the key message that you and your co-producer Park Jung-won want to deliver through this documentary?
Well, the main message that we would like to convey is that such thing happened 90 years ago, and that our ancestors have lost their lives. And because the public interest is so low, we want this documentary to be a way of raising awareness that the history should not be forgotten. And this is the continuation of the Japanese government trying to repackage the history, and that we need to have more interest and knowledge in history and set the record straight.
All right, that was 아리랑TV producer Park Hee-ju. Thank you very much for that. And you can watch this documentary at 9 a.m. today. And that
That's about 2 hours away.
Exactly, the untold story, the Kanto earthquake. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to switch gears and take a look at what's coming up later on Korea Today. Still ahead, we are going to be looking at designs that incorporate traditional Korean folk paintings, or Minhwas, and they're gaining more popularity. The rich artwork infused with the taste of modern designs have created a new flavor in everyday products and spaces. We'll take a look at this new trend.
All right. right, time now to get a check on the weather with our Idami, who is joining us from Paju in Gyeonggi Province. And I believe she's not alone, right?
All right, Dami, good morning.
Good morning, Dami.
Yes, that's right. Good morning, everyone. Today I am amongst ostriches here in Paju, Gyeonggi Province. I will give you more information on that in the latter half. So first, let's talk about the weather. Now, this morning we are seeing partly cloudy skies. It looks like these conditions will continue throughout the day. As for the temperatures, we're seeing typical fall weather. There is still a significant gap between our highs and lows. This morning it is 17 degrees Celsius, and later, of course, our highs will leap up quite a bit. Now, with this significant gap, many people are catching a cold these days, so please take care of yourselves by eating healthy and, of course, dressing accordingly to the weather conditions. Now, as for Tropical Storm Toraji, it looks like it did miss us here in Korea. However, we are seeing some indirect effects as there are storm advisories that have been issued in the EC. Now, down in Jeju Island, there will be signs of sporadic showers starting today and continuing on till tomorrow. Let's now check the numbers around Korea. Seoul will reach up to 25, also for Daejeon as well. Daegu will rise to 27 as Gangneung will be cooler at 23. Busan, Gwangju, and Jeju will peak up to 27 degrees. Now tomorrow the nation will see mostly cloudy skies, but there will be signs of precipitation in some areas down in the south. That's all I have for the weather forecast. I'll be back in the latter half to show you some ostriches.
Jazz music is gaining popularity among many people in Korea, leading to numerous jazz performances being held around the country. German record label ECM has brought a festival scheduled to feature a variety of concerts, including Korean jazz vocalist Shin Ye-won, who joins us in the studio this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about this ECM Music Festival.
Yes, this ECM Music Festival is 3 different kind of events are held simultaneously. Yes. One is music festival, one is exhibitions of all the artwork from the ECM, because ECM is also very respected with their very creative artwork. And also cinema festival. ECM is very involved with film music. I could say that it's about one person, Mantra Aika. He's the main producer and the founder. And I could say it's his own personal collections of music. And he produced the music, he selected the artist himself, he records, and he make all the covers himself. And he inspires numerous numbers of musicians who, and we really want to introduce this, what ECM music is, to Korean music fans.
Well, it definitely sounds like you have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah.
And it seems that instead of just for commercial success, it's kind of a personal playlist type of thing, of a compilation of music. And included in the ECM label is your album here, and it's Luwaya.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your album?
Right now, I am a mother of a 1-year-old daughter. Who is Lua. Her name is Lua. I was pregnant, and my husband, who is now assistant producer in ECM, he thought we could experiment what kind of music that I could come up with when I'm in a different stage of my life. Very, very, it's a unique period of,
You're carrying a life inside you.
Exactly. So we wanted to just try something. And yes, I was in the concert hall on the stage with my musicians Aaron Parks and Rob Curto on accordion. And we don't say anything, and we just let the music come through the air. I don't know how to explain that, but I try to empty my thoughts and everything, just let go, and then maybe music will come.
Okay, so right now you're a mother of a 1-year-old daughter now, and that she was the inspiration for this album.
Yes.
What are your future plans? Any immediate future plans that you have?
I don't know. I actually thought that I would stop doing music professionally. It's not that easy for my baby to deal with this situation, but it turns out that my daughter loves music. She walks to the piano and she plays like this, and whenever she listens to music, she kind of percussive motions she does, and she loves when I sing to her and when I just practice a little bit. So she actually very encouraged me to go back to music field and to do
It's
something.
definitely good for her as well as you and also the
Yeah.
rest of the world, because she brought you back. Basically, it's music calling you back to the world through your daughter.
Yeah, I would like to think, I would like to believe in that way.
All right, thank you for joining us
Thank
this
you
morning.
so much.
And you're going to have to sign this for me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Still ahead, visit the town of Yeongdong in North Chungcheong Province, where fresh clusters of grapes are waiting to be handpicked. Andrew and Diana Brand will take you to a vineyard to experience the makings of wine in Korea and enjoy everything that has to do with grapes. And it's now time for Design Korea, and we're going to talk about the Minhwa, or Korean folk paintings that are drawn by artists who didn't necessarily receive formal or professional training.
Okay, real-life depictions of real life in the Joseon dynasty. That's what Minhwa is, and now the art of Minhwa is being incorporated into everyday designs and more. Let's take a look.
Korean folk paintings, or Minhwas, are descriptive reflections of the country's aesthetics and sentiments. Different from the easily recognizable style of work created by professional artists, many of these Minhwas feature themes about the working class and were created by unknown painters. Unlike Danwon Kim Hongdo's famous tiger under a pine tree, which depicts the detailed coat of the animal, the tiger in this Minhwa is somewhat comical and seems familiar.
The painters who drew ancient folk paintings conveyed hope into their works. Every stroke and design they featured were their ways of wishing for good fortune and luck.
Recently, designs featuring Minhwas have been receiving a lot of attention. They've been reborn so that they're more accessible and available as products for people to buy. With such artwork displayed in various everyday items like tumblers, postcards, and mobile phone accessories, consumers have a lot to choose from. This design lab studies how to further improve and commercialize Korea's Minhwas and studies the value of the artwork. Oche Traditional Paintings in Space is a design lab which tries to infuse spaces with the values of hope for good fortune embedded within the Minhwas. Some of their work includes wallpaper and traditional designs on interior items that might be out for display at Korean restaurants that receive a lot of foreign guests.
Instead of these folk paintings just hung on the walls, I thought they could be better used if integrated to diverse everyday items. And so we decided to put these reworked folk painting designs on different products so they may be seen compatible with the current trend.
It's interesting to find ways to recreate Minhwa so that they don't lose their traditional meaning while trying to make them appeal to the public today.
And it's not only featuring Minhwas on products, the Oche Lab holds regular exhibitions for the folk paintings featuring various artworks since 2009. These shows are decorated with the beauty and elegance of Minhwas and collaborations with various artists.
Minhwas, I think, are fancier than I expected. They are also simple yet very elegant. I think it goes very well with contemporary art.
The August Oche exhibition displayed pieces centered on Korea's 5 traditional colors: blue, yellow, red, white, and black.
Visitors are often surprised at the exhibitions because they come here not knowing what to expect from Minhwas. They realize these traditional pieces can harmoniously coexist with the current times, and they think the paintings have a warm, comforting feeling to them.
Famous Korean pop art designer Atonom, or the art guy, who majored in Korean paintings, added personalized characters into Minhwas to find the most unified point of collaboration between the Joseon dynasty and modern tastes. And this allows for better communication with the public. Along with designers, companies are also joining in to showcase Korea's traditional beauties by putting Minhwa designs on various products. In the age of rapid diversification, it's interesting to see the many different approaches to bring the traditional and modern world of design together.
And a good Thursday morning to you all. Now we're a day away from the big matchup between the Korean national football team and Haiti. Of course, with the European players joining for the first time since manager Hong Myung-bo took over the team, it's a lot to look forward to, only it seems like Haiti isn't sending out their aces. With the match kicking off in Incheon on Friday night, most of the players on Haiti won't be their regular starters. While most of them play overseas in Europe, many of them play in second-tier leagues, minus their goalkeeper Johnny Paslide, who plays in League 1. While it won't be as competitive as many thought, it will be a great chance for Korea to work on their new offense. Of course, moving on, we take a look at some Wednesday night's KBO action. Now, first off, the Kia Tigers sweeping the Samsung Lions 7-5, with the Doosan Bears sweeping the Hanwha Eagles as well. Same score here, 7-5. So with that said, let's take a look at the LG Twins trying to capitalize on the Samsung loss against the SK Wyverns. Of course, going into the game here, we shift over to the fourth inning of the game. Kim Sang-hyun, an RBI double to left center field, scores Kim Gang-min for the first run of the game. Stays that way until the sixth inning when LG ties it up thanks to Chung Sung-hoon's RBI double to left field line, and we have a brand new ball game. 1-1 game rest of the way, but in the bottom of the ninth inning, Chung Sung-hoon singles to right to start things off before Park Yong-taek at bat comes back with a single to right as well, and we have men on first and second and no one out. And here we go. Here is the little Lee Byung-gyu. Here's single to center field. That is the winning run as LG takes this game 2-1, your final score. And next up, the Lotte Giants taking on the Nexen Heroes. Second inning, Lee Sung-yeol, a RBI single scores Kim Min-sung as Nexen takes an early 1-0 lead. Now we shift over to the fifth inning here. Lee Tae-keun this time, an RBI single to left field makes it 2-0 Nexen Heroes. Before last year's MVP Park Byung-ho making it 3-0 with an RBI single to right. But now here come the Lotte Giants in the seventh inning. The sniper Chang Sung-ho, RBI double to left, cuts the deficit before Chun Jin-woo makes it 3-2 with an RBI ground out to third base. Now this one is a close game, but Nexen closes things out in the eighth inning. Oh Yoon clutch hit here, RBI single going into center field makes it 4-2 Nexen. Before Seok-eun Chang closes the curtains here with an RBI single to left as the Nexen Heroes hang on to avoid the sweep 5-2. A lot of baseball news this morning as we now shift over to the majors, where 37-year-old Im Chang-yong has been called up to the majors just now, joining the Chicago Cubs bullpen. Now in the 11 games and 11 1/3 inning in AAA Iowa Cubs, he gave up just one run, an ERA of just 0.79. That becomes just the 14th Korean to play in the major leagues. Congratulations to him, and that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
beautiful Minhwa paintings there now.
And we'll be looking at that. Well, we actually did take a look at that earlier on the program. Now, it is going to be a lot of fun going over to Tommy this time because she's going to debunk the myth, do ostriches really bury their heads in the sand when they're in danger?
All right.
Well, is she going to put them in danger? Is that what it is?
Standing by with some ostriches.
Yeah, well, that was a myth that was debunked a long time ago. But there are the ostriches, and there's Dami.
I'm back reporting live from the ostrich village located in Paju, Gyeonggi province. And right now, there are so many ostriches around me, and it's the first time that I've seen them in real life. And they're a bit majestic and very big as well. Now, this village is home to 50 ostriches, and now these birds are known to be the largest species of birds on Earth. And they are known to have survived in the wilderness of Africa, where the temperatures throughout the day are a bit different. So they do adapt well to the climate here in Korea as well. Now you're probably wondering what this is right here. This is an ostrich egg. It's humongous, isn't it? Look, it's about the size of my face, kind of. And they're known to be very strong as well. It's to the point where it hurts my hand knocking on this egg. And just imagining how the baby just has to break through this egg. They say that a lot of ostriches don't survive breaking through the egg as well. Now, here at the village, there are lots of different programs, but lots of other animals that you can see as well. Not only ostriches, but goats, also deer and chickens, rabbits, and much more. And of course, there are so many different programs that you can check out or enjoy here throughout the day. And the most popular program is feeding the ostriches. So I have some lettuce here with me, okay, and of course an ostrich is approaching me. Okay, here it goes, it's a little scary. Okay, wow. Wow, they have a really strong beak. Okay, it looks like they're really hungry this morning. Now, other programs that you can check out that I think would be the most exciting is where children can ride the ostriches themselves. So, man, if I was only just a few years younger, and of course, a couple pounds lighter. Ooh, okay. All right, so if you think this is all exciting, then you should definitely come on by the Ostrich Village and check it out. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
That ostrich certainly has a big appetite. I'm just amazed at how small its head is, though.
Oh, they're so huge, right?
And then their head is like...
I was amazed at how aggressive they were.
Right, almost trying
just
to eat.
eager to eat Dami up, you know?
Yeah.
7:43 a.m. I guess they're kind of hungry. It's time for breakfast, right? Okay, this time we're going to be looking at ripening fruits and much more on this segment. Now, with autumn near, we see the temperatures between night and day fluctuating greatly, and Chuseok is right around the corner, which means that harvest season is near.
That's right. We're going to take you to Yeongdong in North Chungcheong province, where grapes are they have the largest area for grape production. It's going to be a great grape festival. So
all right.
Surrounded by the Sobek mountain range, Yeongdong in North Chungcheong province is a gift of nature. While the city is home to Korea's traditional music, gugak, it is also the producer of the country's top-quality fruit, including grapes, apples, and persimmons, recognized worldwide for their size and sweetness. And during the last few weeks of summer, we head to a grape festival there.
This is the wine country where they grow grapes. We're gonna pick them. Isn't that exciting?
Our first stop when we arrive in Yeongdong is a wine factory full of the sweet scent of grapes. I wonder what kind of special experiences we'll enjoy here. Many are lined up to take part in the grape picking event at the vineyard here.
Okay, wow.
Diana and I take on the challenge of picking these grapes. There are many delicious-looking grapes all around this vineyard, and because Yeongdong is the warmest area in the North Chungcheong province, receiving the most sunshine, the grapes here are known to be the sweetest. The region is known to produce most of the grapes grown in Korea. After carefully listening to the instructions, Diana is excited to pick some grapes of her own.
오늘 뭐 얼마나 뗄 거야?
100개.
Open. Ah, hello.
Our box quickly fills up as we waste no time in picking the beautifully ripened grapes.
Thank you. Isn't this exciting, Diana, to get real grapes right? That's a nice grape. You like it? Let me help you with
Within just a few hours, Diana is already a grape-picking professional.
왜 포도는 동그래요?
포도가 왜 동그래요? 그걸 뭐라고 설명을 해줘야 될까?
After our hard work, we enjoy some grapes during our quick break in the shade.
I'm happy. Of course I'm happy to eat grapes. Who wouldn't be happy to eat grapes, eh, Diana?
And after picking our grapes, we head to the Yeongdong Grape Festival. Because the area is the country's main producer of the sweet fruit, the event has received a lot of attention from many people across the country.
This was a very exciting experience. Now we're going to the Yeongdong Grape Festival. Isn't that great? Yes.
Here, there's a lot to enjoy with grapes. Diana heads over to the grape stomping contest where festive music and crowds of people are taking part. 100 people, from children to adults and foreign visitors, dance and stomp on the grapes to ear-blasting music. With such upbeat tunes and dancing, it's the perfect way to let off some steam. Thanks to this event, I was able to mingle with other people at this event as well. And now it's dance stomping time for dads. Everyone goes wild with their dance moves once Psy's Gangnam Style comes on. With my rather unique dance moves, I was able to win a box of grapes.
A box of grapes? Oh, it's very exciting to dance with my daughter and all of those squished grapes.
Next up, a special area where grapes meet with fishing. Here, children are eager to reel in the tastiest looking grapes.
Fighting!
This round fishing pool draws the attention of children, and Diana is no exception. She fishes up some grapes with ease. Yeongdong's wine is just as popular as its grapes, and anyone can try making his or her one-of-a-kind wine. After crushing grapes, all you have to do is add sugar and yeast, then the sweet fruit transforms into wine. Diana's curiosity and excitement has no end.
I think Diana hasn't been this excited all summer.
And that's not all. We were able to try different dishes made with grapes. The first thing that catches our eyes are these purple-colored noodles.
This is a noodle made of grapes, or podu. That's why it has the grape color.
Diane and I are already completely fascinated by the purple grape noodles. How will it taste?
Worth the wait. Magical.
It's not only the grape noodles, the grape kimbap is another must-try treat.
That's good too.
이게 보라색이니까 신기해요. 밥도 보라색. 국수도 보라색.
It was a long day with hours of endless fun. We decide to enjoy a nice wine footbath to sit back and relax. And with that, our trip to Yeongdong slowly comes to an end.
Did you have a good day?
Yes. And I want to come here again.
You do? With who? Oh, that would be wonderful.
So sweet.
We can call him a talbabo, right?
Yeah,
Right,
of course,
definitely.
definitely. I mean, a lot of the activities looked really fun, except for the food, though. I'm not really sure
those
about
noodles,
the
right?
Yeah,
The
noodles
purple
and
kimbap.
kimbap. Yeah.
But the hand picking those grapes sounds really educational and
Yeah,
really fun, right?
exactly. And the festival is over, if I'm not mistaken, but you can still go and grape pick, and the prime harvest season for picking grapes is almost over, though, so time is running out. It's by mid-September they'll be gone. So
and you can try the great Korean wine there as well. But that festival might be over, but there are other festivals that's opening from October 3rd until the 7th. There's going to be more festivals, including grape festivals, wine festivals, and even kugak festivals. So if you do have time, you might want to go there and enjoy a bit of grapes and music.
Time for you, Young, to put on your farmer's hat and go out there and pick
You're
some
a big
grapes.
talbabo. We talked about this, so bring your daughter there and
It's a good bonding experience.
Right,
Trip to the
definitely.
vineyards.
Yes.
That's right.
Sounds great. All right, that's your program for today, and we will say goodbye.
Okay, we'll be back tomorrow with other great stories. That was an awkward ending, I have to say. All right,
I'm not
see you
used to this
tomorrow.
part. You always get the first part, and I get the second part.
All
and I
right,
know how to
thanks.
finish that.
Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.